Hello, everyone. My name is Lucas. I'm with Business Development, and I will be the host of today's webinar. Thank you for taking the time and spending it with us. We appreciate it because we know that every single one of us is very busy. I've got a colleague with me for this webinar, a longtime member of our QA and product team. Regular attendees might know him already. His name is Robert Kovacic. Hello, Robert.
Hello to the live guests and to the viewers of the recording. Nice to see you.
We're planning to do this webinar very streamlined. It has to be consumable. So we're planning to have around 30 minutes for the webinar plus a Q&A. The webinar is being recorded, as you have been notified, and it's going to be shared later as well. So if you feel like you want to share it with someone within your organization or with a friend even, you can feel free to do so. I'm going to run through the agenda real quick because I want to share some summary of Easy Software news, things that we have been cooking up in the previous months. We're going to move forward to the new release of version 12, both Easy Redmine and Easy Project. That's not going to be a demo. Robo is going to go through all the changes that we've done and why we've done that. And after all, we want to do a simple Q&A with you guys. For the Q&A, please use the Q&A functionality here in this Zoom application. You can find it probably just under mine or Robert's face. It should be an icon of two chat bubbles, sort of, titled Q&A. So please use that one because it simplifies a lot of things, not just for us, but for you as well. And once we're done with the Q&A section, we're going to move on to, let's say, to closing with some additional information to make sure it's, once again, consumable and streamlined. So moving on to Easy Software news. Easy Redmine and Easy Project, or rather Easy Redmine, has allowed us to become the #1 on the Redmine market, taking its users to a new level, while allowing us to continuously grow past the Redmine audience and bring more and more enterprises on board. For those of you that don't know it already, when it comes to Easy Redmine and Easy Project, applications are identical. Services are identical, so you don't need to worry. The difference is in marketing and our segmentation. There's just some historical purpose to it, but you don't have to worry. If you're running Easy Redmine, this webinar is entirely tailored to you. If you're running Easy Project, just the same. I would say our biggest advantage has always been the flexibility and adaptability. None of that is changing. We're still a complex project management platform in the best sense of the word. We can still combine traditional and agile projects or project methodologies. We aim to provide a complex visual reporting. You can expand our platform through help desk and CRM while utilizing all the project management tools that you might need. That still remains the same. We're still planning to be the #1 project management platform on the market. The software is obviously constantly being upgraded. Now we're releasing the version 12 of it. We're still sticking to one major release every year, plus some minor releases in between, depending on the need or requirements. The official release for existing clients is planned for mid-September. So that's actually happening in a few days or a few hours, if I'm not mistaken. Plus, there's going to be a period in which we're rolling out all our cloud accounts. I will be posting landing pages for version 12 of Easy Redmine and Easy Project into the chat later for those of you who are interested. And once again, if you feel like resharing it across the organization or with your colleagues in general. But we're planning a few other things at the same time. Everything else gets a facelift. We're doing a rebranding to sort of get ourselves 2023 compliant. I am using the word facelift because we are keeping main aspects of our marketing and business. Even though the rebranding is going to be very noticeable for our close clients and partners, we are making sure to keep our identity to avoid any potential confusions. You'll notice a new website, new logo, new messaging, basically all marketing, but nothing changes in our approach, nothing changes in our services. So what I can do here before we move on is I can definitely encourage you to start trial accounts if you haven't already and talk to our consultants. I'm sure that you have plenty of questions or specific requirements in order to activate Easy Redmine and Easy Project for your own business, and we're here to help. Get a demo, and just make sure you're not wasting your time, right, within the evaluation. In general, or by default, our consultants should be the ones that have a lot of knowledge packed into their heads, so just utilize it. Why not? And now I feel like it should be the time for my co-host to take over, at least for a little bit. After all, this is the purpose of the webinar. So Robert is going to share more information about the version 12 and our ideas. And once again, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, just use the Q&A button and we will get to that at the end of the webinar. So Robert, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Lukáš, for the great comprehensive introduction. I always start this kind of webinars. Some of you may have already seen it by referring to the release notes for these major versions. This particular article is for version 12.0 and 12.1. Since we are doing this big release to all of you, to our clients, we are doing this release in the minor version of version 12. This 12.0 was unofficial release. It got into the trials. You were already able to use them, but it wasn't. We still wanted to take some time to finalize the version that will be unpacking to you for your production environments. So for this reason, the release notes are also written for the two versions. As Lukáš said, we are actually releasing 12.1 this week. We start rolling it on Thursday to the first cloud clients, and then it will be gradually rolled to the whole cloud. As for the server release, the on-premise packages, they are being prepared and final testing is being done, and we are planning to put them out at the end of September. Some of you probably already saw this in a newsletter or some other information campaign. So now finally to the actual version, to the feature, to the application, which I hope you are looking forward to. I always start after I start presenting. I always check with the technological stack, which again, same as with transition from version 10 to 11. There is also a jump in the technological stack from version 11 to version 12. We support the latest Ruby 3.1.2. We upgraded the database, which is very, very important part for you on-premise server clients. It will require to upgrade Percona, which in fact means it's better to install your the version 12 on a new server and migrate your data. It's much safer because downgrade or rollback from MySQL 5.7 from 8 to 5.7 is not really possible. All of this is noted and explained in the release notes. So I will leave it at here, and I'm sure that those of you who are eager to get version 12 have probably already checked the release notes. That would be it for the technological stack, and now really let's look at the application. Well, as it's general in the major versions, there is some kind of design change, which we also wanted to tie with some usability change as well. So it's not just about changing colors and size of the buttons, as you can see, but we also made some other half functional, half usability changes, which are oriented towards user friendliness. I hope you will like it. So the biggest change that your regular users will notice are the forms regarding task. The new task form is and task update forms are different, and there is we just made a general overhaul of these forms. We added a navigation bar so you can quickly go through through various sections in the task. It contains the native sections, but it also can contain custom field groups, which are configurable, which you can define for yourself, which is another example of the adaptability of the software. So you may have many fields, and this navigation bar will help you go through them if you group them to custom field groups, for example. So we rearranged some fields based on the importance of them on each form. The new task form is a bit different than editing task. I will show you very shortly. And that's why it has a different ordering of the fields. So in new task, of course, subject description, you will have some project pre-filled, but you may want to change it so it's in a prominent place, and then set a priority, assignee, and due date. So these are the most important and most widely used fields when creating new tasks. That's why they are up here. Now, when we go to some existing task and we want to update it, it's slightly different. It works on the same principle. There is the update button, and you will still see the context of the task, but you will get scrolled into the update. The first field is comments, because we believe, and it's the best practice to, when you are doing the big update, it's not just about changing several fields and saving it, but a comment is a standard. Comment is practically required to explain why you made the changes. So comment is was put on the top. You can see also the navigation bar. It contains the spend time as well, which is in the update task, so you can quickly click through it, as well as custom field groups, and same as I was talking about before on new task form. There is the upload section, which is ever present. It's sticky, so you will never have to scroll again to be able to upload some file. It's always present. And of course, there are the separate buttons which have special contexts. For example, sending update to help desk to your clients via help desk, and others. So we didn't remove any functionality. We just rearranged the new task and the update task to be able to capture what is most often used, and to make it as quick, easy, and uninterrupted as possible, as well as the navigation. So this is part of the general usability changes. We understood that we have a deficit, let's say, in kind of user friendliness, which we tried to start remaking in version 11. Now we making further gradual steps and focusing on how your users feel when they are working in the application. So we hope you will find this change useful. Well, one thing that we had to, and we felt really necessary to return, are some features of the CK editor, of the text editing, text editor in general. We had strong feedback from version 11 that there are some crucial features missing, so we returned them. There is the source mode possible, so I can put in HTML, which some custom HTML, which will then be shown as I did. Of course, there is some sanitizer to avoid any potential dangerous scripts, so don't worry about this, but we have returned the source mode. There are other regular features, one new one which wasn't in the old CK editor is actually the auto format. When I will start writing a dash, and it prepares and a space, and it prepares a bulleted list, so I don't even have to click manually to create a bullet list. Same goes for ordered lists. So I think we have somehow erased the deficit and the user disappointment in version 11, which removed many features in CK editor. So here they are back. Another change was these kind of modals for this kind of pop-up windows, which are generated from backend. They are a bit more compact. Previously, they were very stretched. You will find them on more places. So it's again, it will help you focus on the important part and not see just a big window with just a couple of fields. Last but not least, we have made some additions and some user feedback implementation from in dynamic filters, which are explained in more detail in the release notes. We tried to make it more intuitive to know what you are actually doing. There are a couple of more features, for example, to set the column width evenly. Saved filter management is also has also improved in dynamic filters. So this general usability and design is one big part of version 12, but let's move on to the other ones, because it's not just about usability. There are some features, and I personally am very happy about the features that got here. So moving to the big part of version 12, which is called Agile Resource Management, which is a new plugin, a new feature. It's independent from the original resource management that most of you already know, and it has a somewhat different approach. This new Agile Resource Management is based on, as in the name, on the agile, or let's say lean methodologies, which were developed sometime during the 50s and 60s in Japan. We wanted to make this tool as intuitive as possible, so it's not tied to existing logic in the application that would prevent you from saving, for example, some changes. It's ready to go when you start using it. It has some, let's say, philosophical connections to the original resource management, but it's not connected in any technical way with it. And I will explain very shortly why is it. So just a quick introduction. There are three different perspectives in this Agile Resource Management. Firstly, there is the project view. Let's say it shows you the portfolio of projects. I will, for example, open. I can set a filter for the fields for the projects that I am the manager of, and that's one use case. These are all my projects. These are the timeline. These are the people or teams that help me with those projects, and this is one dimension, one way to look at it. When I want to manage a new project, which is not yet in Agile Resource Management, I will just select one, find it from the search, and it's there. I got it, and then I can plan it in time. Here I can add teams, workers to it, and the snowball starts from here. I think many of you will be quite thrilled with working with this, as am I. But this is just the one view. We have another one, which is view per teams. So we have two teams in this trial or in this application: red developers, blue consultants. It's better to use the colors. So right now you can see each team and their projects they are working on. You can see some conflicts, let's say, or parallel allocations. It depends on your situation, how you read it. You can create a team directly here. You will select the color. Team type is also a definable. So whichever types of teams you have, however you organize your workers, it's configurable and for your convenience. So I added a team. Now I can add workers. I can see that I can see the workers who are already in some other teams to make sure that I won't take them. I can see we have a skills management. I can see who is good at what. So I can build the team based on the skills management. Again, skills are configurable. It's all up to you. Whatever you do, these are configurable enumerations. So adopts to your needs as well. So I will create some team. I will put some people in it. Okay, then it's free. So this is just a micro team of 2 people, but I see their allocations. I see when can I plan some projects. I see if there's a problem. And so that's the second view. That's the view of teams. Finally, we have the personal view. Let's say, well, we have the view of every user, which in a, let's say, in a practical sense, you may find some users, let's say, in this example, let's say some special types of developers. What are they doing? I see that Danny is working until October, and then he's free to do other projects. So again, a different dimension, useful for preparing your project portfolio and planning it in the future. Many other features. We will be happy when you try it, when you start using your projects in it, or at least testing them. And whatever feedback we get from you, we will be happy to convey to our product team, which I'm a part of, and implement your feedback as you need it. Of course, this feature is documented. It has a separate documentation, so it's linked to the release notes. So you will find it either in release notes or in general in the knowledge base. Okay, this is not the only change, and I do have to remind that we still support the original resource management. It's up to you whether to decide to work on the new one or the old one, or the original one. Sorry, it's not really old, but it's still supported. It's up to you. We actually added features to the original resource management, the view of quarters or years in case of very long project durations. So it even gets new features. So yeah, additional function to the complex project management we offer. Now I would like to show something for the development part of you viewers and guests, which is GitHub integration, which some of you may know that we have launched GitLab integration during last year. Now we are also supporting GitHub, which you can find in your application under add-ons. It's not part of any plan. You can add it into whatever plan you have. When you go to the settings, you can see a new option, GitHub here. It's very easy to enter. So just give it a name. This is a custom name. URL. If you are on the cloud GitHub, it's just this URL, and then you will generate a token, which is explained in detail in documentation how you can do this. So right now I connected. I will check the repositories. Sorry, I will check whether I connected successfully. And yeah, I can see my repositories in my group. So it was found. It was detected. My key works. So let's take a look while to manually synchronize, and the pull requests, the commits, and the tests, and the other repositories are imported into my Easy Redmine or Easy project, and I can do I can work with them as a release manager. I work with this on a daily basis in our QA team. We check merge requests from GitLab. We check the tests, and it's a useful part. So we support GitHub, and more to come based on your requirements. So right now I showed you some bigger parts of the application, but we we also spent time polishing the details. It wasn't just put new big features in version 12. When you go through the release notes, there are various more details in help desk, in attendance management, in the calendar, in mind maps. So we are continuously improving the application. Some changes that go to major version, as is version 12, are noticeable. We put them there just not to break your use of your existing version. So we are presenting them this way. You will find them in release notes, and we are trying to not only add new features, but or not only change the features, but we try to focus on the user experience as a whole, is general, not just adding features and hoping they will find some users. We know that you take care of many of your whole companies working on this application. So we also try to help you with this by providing the best possible user experience. I hope we are making some progress in it. I hope you will find it for yourselves. And with this, I will leave the room for questions. I see that there is some of them. So Lukáš, I think you will be the best moderator for it. I will do answering.
Well, thanks for the faith. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into the Q&A. Why not? Let's start with Sebastian asking if the download will be available to all current clients. I think a part of this I can definitely answer. If you're running our cloud hosting, it's very, very likely that the answer is yes, because like I said, the release of the Easy Redmine and Easy project is basically happening in the next few days, but it's going to take us a little while until we upgrade all applications up to version 12. That being said, it's best if you reach out to support at easysoftware.com, because it is possible that you're running one of the previous versions of the application. And it is a good idea to consult this with us if you're feeling like you're not sure about this.
Yeah, Lukáš, I think Sebastian was asking for download of the server package, of the on-premise package.
That was for the cloud. I'm just following this trend because I've seen many of my clients asking about download while running the cloud hosting solution at the end of the day. When it comes to the server solution, as long as you have running update subscription, you will definitely be able to download the latest version of either Easy Redmine or Easy Project, but it's very difficult for me to say at this point. So if you do have your contact details to one of our sales consultants, please reach out to them. I'm sure they will be happy to help. If not, just reach out through any lines you could, and we'll look into the current subscription that your company is running, and we'll get in touch with you directly. That's probably the best scenario that I have at this point.
I have a little better one. I'm not trying to compete, Lukáš, but it is we already can openly say that we are planning the release of the on-premise version at the end of September, in the last week of September. Those who have version 11 active server contract updates available will be switched, or let's say they will have version 12 available. It will become available during the last week of September. That is our plan. We currently don't have any blocking issues. We are still testing. Some may come, but we are trying to make sure that this package will be really 100% functional. So we are just making sure, and the plan is end of September for all clients with active subscription or active updates.
Another question from Carolina. In the task update, the date field in spent time is no longer there. Which date will it use?
Yeah, it's a good question. We definitely haven't been removing anything. So it's possible that in this application, the setting was to hide the date when I am logging time through task update. So So I would need to clarify this. It's a good it's a great question, and it's great to see that you have been watching carefully. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you directly. It's probably pre-configured in my application, so I could provide the answer afterwards when I check in more detail to Carolina.
All right, but I guess the message is the date field should be there.
That field should be there, but the question was which date will it use? By default, it's logging to today, so it will automatically enter today. In case you need to log time to another date, there is the option to go through the regular log time form by the plus button. So there are options to log time to other days as well.
All right. Another question from Milan. Will the Easy project version 12 include an extension for customized reports?
I would have to understand what exactly you mean by customized reports. All of the reporting possibilities in version 11 or 10 are have been maintained in version 12. But I'm not sure whether you are talking about some specific that we developed for you, or whether it was just the name of a feature which we use somewhere on our web, and I don't know what you are referring to, and we may have some inconsistency in the terminology, but we haven't removed any reports, so my bet is that yes, it will still be included.
There's an addition to the question is there's need for reports with customized fields, and Milan says their current tool is currently under construction, which is probably part of the answer.
Custom fields are definitely reports with custom fields are definitely available. We haven't done anything to remove them. If so, we added something to them.
If there is some part that was requested as, I don't know, a custom development and it's being under construction, it's difficult for us right now to look that up. But in any case, support@easysoftware.com, or if there's a ticket open, make sure to keep that communication in that thread. Another question from Pascal. When is the dynamic filter planned to fully replace the old filter version, even in places where the dynamic filter is not available yet?
Yeah, it's another great question. Our original intent was to replace the previous filters by dynamic filters in this version, in version 12. But after we made some deeper analysis and found that all of the queries that we have, all of the various listings, the entities, they have too many specifics to be able to just replace them in a semi-automatic way. Every one of them needs some kind of individual approach, and we just didn't want to sacrifice Agile Resource Management development, which is mainly front end, to replacing old filters by dynamic filters. For that reason, we still have the duality in filtering. We added the user list to dynamic filters. Also, Agile Resource Management uses dynamic filters, so it's getting spread. But we didn't want to make the big step, which was we didn't want to make the big step and sacrifice other changes, other interesting additions we needed to do, or maybe legacy that we need to remove. We didn't want to sacrifice them by focusing purely on dynamic filters. So I am not able to tell you whether it will be this way in version 13. We know that filters, the original ones, still contain some features that are not very easily replaceable by dynamic filters, so they will be with us still for a while.
All right. There's a question from Ricardo. This feature is included included in your pack, and do you have a cost? The feature, I believe it was posted when you were talking about the Agile Resource Management. So the Agile Resource Management, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a part of the business license.
Yes, it's part of the business, the middle plan. Yeah.
So easyredmine.com or easyproject.com, click on pricing, you'll see the business license. And if you scroll down, you'll see actually all the plugins or features that you would get in part of all the specific licenses.
And in case Ricardo was asking about GitHub, then that's a separate add-on, but just in case.
Indeed. Another question from Carolina, can you connect calendar with Google Agenda?
Yeah, the calendar in Easy8 Easy Project is connectable via CalDAV or even iCal. So these are generally used protocols. So I would say almost definitely. If you need some help doing these connections, if the documentation provided is not enough, again, our consultants are able to help you with it.
Very nice. A question from Stephen. Do you plan to support SVN repositories?
SVN repositories are supported in the old-fashioned Redmine way. What I shown you in the GitHub integration, which we previously have already in GitLab integration, is our new approach, which makes it a lot easier to connect. It's lightweight, so it doesn't copy the whole repository. So it's possible to, well, it shows some more data in Easy8. So this was our connection to repositories, but there is some original Redmine connector, let's call it, which does support SVN. And this, again, I would discuss individually with our colleagues and to show you in more detail how it works. But we do have it documented, and it still exists. We just need to enable it for you, because it's likely that it's disabled by default.
I've got a question here about the comparison between version 11 and 12, claiming that version 12 was very slow when showing a list of all created projects, and the view could take about 1.5 minutes per view. And if this has been improved, I would say this is more so like a user experience or individual issue based on the amount of results that are coming in, right? Like in this case, what would you suggest? I think this is very much individual, and we would like to talk from client to client.
If it goes to the Gantt view, Gantt contains and has to load a lot of data in case you have. It's not just a flat list of projects, but if you really have a big number of projects created in your application and you want to show all of them in Gantt, it has to load and calculate enormous amounts of data. And that's just one part. The second part is maybe even the harder one, which is to render this data into the visual form that it looks like in Gantt. So this has, let's say, practical limits in the browser, in the hardware, more than in the application itself. We are able to do, or we even have been trying to implement. We have implemented some let's say, best practices for it. For example, slow loading or batch loading. So we load 25 projects, then another 25, and this is how you can see projects gradually and not kill your browser by loading everything, whole of the Gantt with all of the data. So there are some approaches, but some of them were not accepted. So let's say this topic of loading everything on Gantt and its performance, it's still existing topic.
All right. In any case, we're happy to discuss this on an individual basis. Maybe there are some things that we can do, because I've seen this many times with a lot of results, and with some guidance from our consultants, this can be significantly improved. Another question from Sebastian. Is the two-factor authentication available in the new version?
Yes, it's a standard feature. It has been available even since version 10, but there are actually some additions in version 12 where you can force two-factor authentication just for admins, for example. So or just for certain user groups. So it's even extended somehow in version 12. So it has some useful tweaks now.
I think we have a time for a few others. So let's get the question from Sarah. Hello, in this version, can we report and determine time in a different task at the same time? I'm not sure if I follow that.
Yeah, I also am not completely sure. Well, for planning time on tasks, there is the original resource management that distributes hours in time for certain tasks, and in more detail, we have a calendar which does it, where you can distribute the hours of a task to your working day. So this is possible, but I'm not sure whether I'm able to answer exactly what you mean. I don't know. Sorry.
If we're not able to help, just take this to one of our sales consultants or once again our support line, and somebody will pick it up and we'll be happy to help. A question from Carolina: is the Agile Resource Management a substitute to the old Resource Management module?
No, it definitely isn't. It's a new, let's say, approach to resource management, but we are not throwing away anything. We are keeping the original resource management for the managers to decide which one is better for their use case. So one of them is more detailed, more tied to the task tracking and to the validations. The other one is kind of intuitive, easier to use, but not as strict as the original one. So it depends on the approach you want to use.
Once again, our sales will be happy to help with this one because we're constantly getting training on how to talk about both of these. A question from Beatrice: could I connect with other kinds of agenda or calendar tools, Outlook or calendar from Mac? I think that this goes along with what you've said, right? I would say that
CalDAV and iCal are universal protocols. So yes, it can be applied to whichever calendar supports CalDAV or iCal.
Yes, Outlook is heavily used across our organization as well, and we've been overall building a lot of Office 365 integrations, so I can definitely recommend that along with Easy Redmine and Easy Project. And we've got time for one last question from Roberto. Hi, maybe this feature is not a part of the new version, but a customer portal to view the project, is it available as a part of the current module, or is it planned in the roadmap?
We have a customer portal to view tickets, to view specific tasks or tickets that the user or the customer submitted. Some ability to view a project in let's say some limited permissions or limited access is already able in the current versions as well, and in the older versions due to the very configurable roles and permissions administration. So there are ways to show your client a view of a project in a limited way. So again, it's about individual implementation to your needs. There are various permission levels that you can very flexibly configure.
Very nice. In that case, I think there is nothing else for me left than to once again encourage you guys to go to easyredmine.com or easyproject.com and start trial accounts. The version 12 that Robo has been talking about is actually present on trial accounts. So if you just want to get a feel of it and just see for yourself what Robert has shown you, go ahead and go to the website, start a trial account, get a demo or a presentation from our sales. They will be happy to help. Just challenge us with your workflows, with your requirements, explore our website and the pricing page. We know that running projects can be hard and perfection tends to be impossible. So Let's just aim for, I don't know, as much harmony in the cooperation as possible. Robert, do you want to close this out? How are we doing?
I am very happy with all the questions you had with this. With it becoming somewhat of a conversation, and it makes me very happy that
Indeed.
to have such an engaged audience. So thank you for that, and I bid you a great day.
Everyone have a nice one. Bye-bye.